I'm going to begin, Sienna. I mean, I think you're like a chameleon of an actress. Sometimes I can watch a film that you're in, and sometimes it can take sort of 4 or 5 scenes to recognise you in, and that is a compliment, believe me.
That's great.
I'm just wondering about when you see these characters. They all seem so different from one another, and I'm just wondering, and they seem to really challenge you, and they seem to be so wildly different from yourself. Is that partly what inspired you to take on roles? Do you like the idea of playing people that are just going to make you adopt the head and the mindset and wear a mask of someone completely different to who you are?
Yeah, I have very little interest in playing any version of myself. But I am deeply fascinated in other people, and so the more I can transform or metamorphosize into somebody else, the happier I am. Yes, that is.
How do you find it when you meet you? Because I remember once I read an interview with Bryan Cranston, and he said, because he's a real character actor as well, is that he said sometimes when he gets to a level of fame, people stop acting always themselves around him. When he's on the kind of the subway or stuff, everyone's kind of like looking around because they've seen someone famous, and he said it makes it harder to then become a character actor because people are not always showing their true selves to you. Have you ever found that when you kind of meet people? Do you find it sometimes could be harder when you're famous to find out the more honest side to someone?
I feel like I've got a pretty good radar for that kind of thing. I think I can sense quite quickly what's going on with people, and I think that's probably a good quality to have as an actor. I'm probably quite specific to actors. But no, I don't know. I think I'm quite good at making people feel comfortable.
Your character in this movie, I mean, she goes through something unimaginable. And I'm just wondering about the challenges in getting into that mindset every day. And I imagine it must have been quite emotionally exhausting at the end of the shoot.
It was about the most painful thing I've ever had to experience on a set. I can't even imagine what that would be in real life, but I spent a lot of time with people who'd had that experience and trying to really empathize with what that would be like was painful and really relieving and fortunate to be able to go home to my daughter every night. I think as a parent, you have imagined it. It just exists once you have a child. And one of the people that I spoke to who had been through that experience was very generous and said something that really stayed with me. But I said, I cannot imagine what that would be like. And he said, you can and you have. And that's exactly what it's like. And that made sense to me. So thankfully, I have not had that experience, but I wanted to understand what it would be and did my best to do that justice, I suppose.
Because I mean, even though it is a sort of tragedy that happens in the movie, the film's got a sense of hope to it. In the sense that I think it really explores our resilience as people. I think one of our greatest sort of assets we have as human beings is our ability to overcome things and sort of move on.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering about if you think that was quite an interesting thing to explore.
That was what landed with me the most. That was what I loved about this film, was really celebrating the triumphant aspect of the human spirit, that no matter what happens, people do manage to carry on, and it's just unfathomable. It's unimaginable to me to imagine that experience and carrying on, and people do, and are generous in that with their experience. There is this resilience to humans, which I admire. And the film is triumphant. It's not just, it doesn't sit in the grief that happens and life goes on. And she's funny, this woman, and brave and great.
And I mean, like you just mentioned before, that this sort of spans across years, this story.
Mm-hmm. 11.
11 years. I mean, what she goes through in 11 years is an incredible thing for you to then have to perform in, I guess, like 2 months. What was the challenges in going through this kind of lifetime almost to an extent of emotions, but doing it in such a short period of time?
You know, I really had to think about what she would begin as and what she would end as, and that felt like I made real physical choices. So in the beginning of the film, I wanted her to never sit still, to always be moving, to be kind of fizzing and effervescent. And then obviously the tragedy happens and she's in a slightly shocked state, and then there's a real groundedness at the end. But this was an independent film, so we were sometimes shooting chapter 1 and chapter 3 in the same day, and it was schizophrenic in that sense. It just took a lot of work and a lot of real consideration about how physically I would be different. But I loved that kind of challenge. I think I respond well to it.
Because I was going to ask if I'm assuming obviously that you said it wasn't chronological, but were you really shooting the periods of time or were you literally moving?
No. Sometimes it would be the end Deb and the beginning Deb in one day, which was it's just more work, but it requires a director that's very prepped, and we had that. And a lot of internal rehearsing, color coding scripts so that I had color associations with things. I mean, work really.
It's just very funny before I go. Because you mentioned before about meeting somebody who's been through this. I was just wondering about the research for this, because I'm just wondering about what level did you go to sort of support groups, or how many sort of people would you say you met to really try and understand what this world is like?
I had two people, one of whom was Vicky Kelly. The film is dedicated to her son. She was somebody that I would be on the phone to often to try to, especially before scenes that were related specifically to the disappearance and all of the stuff around Bridget. And I had about two other people that I met and sat down with. I didn't go to support groups. I feel like there's enough stock footage online for me to be able to understand that. And with the in-depth conversations I was having, that felt like enough. I didn't really want to be a tourist in it. It's such a sensitive subject matter, but I didn't feel like I was lazy when it came to trying to understand as much as I could around it.